What is up, guys? In this video we're going to be going over operators in JavaScript, and this is a very fundamental part of how you program. It's going to deal with very basic algebra, and let's just jump straight into it. As you can see here, I already have a program that creates a variable which is called answer, and it assigns it the initial value of 0. Then we will log it and it will say answer equals plus the answer that we will get. As you can see, when we run it, it will say the answer is 0 because we've assigned the value of 0 to answer. But let's get started with some very simple arithmetic operators. The first one, of course, is the plus symbol. So if we do 1 plus 1, you'll notice down here that the answer is 2. Then we can move on to minus. If we do 1 minus 1, we will end up with an answer of 0. Or we can actually even change this to result, because I like that more. Then we can go ahead and multiply. And to multiply, you just have to use an asterisk. So 2 times 2, of course, is going to equal 4. We can do division. So let's do 7 divided by 2. And click on save. And you'll notice that we will get a 3.5 as an answer. So it's simple as that to add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Now let's move on to something that's a bit more complicated. For example, pretend we have a value such as answer, which is 0, and let's pretend we want to increment it. All we have to do is add plus 2 times to the answer, and this will increment whatever number we have here by 1. So the answer will be 1. And if we change this to 2, the answer will be 3, because the plus plus will always increment it by 1. And very similar to incrementing, we can also decrement the answer by 1 by adding the minus minus. So if we type in minus minus, you'll see that the answer of 2 will turn into a result of 1. Next, let's move on to what they call the modulus operator. And this is just a way to find out what the remainder of a number is. So if we do 20 modulus operator 3, we should end up with a result of 2. Because 3 goes into 20 6 times, and then you'll have a remainder of 2. And that's all the modulus operator does, which is very good for checking whether a number is odd or even. And finally, there's one more arithmetic operator I should show you, and that is the exponent. So if we do 20 to the power of 2, all we have to do is provide 2 asterisks and add the 2, and you'll see that the result is 400. Because of course, 20 to the power of 2 is 20 times 20, which is 400. And if we do it to the power of 3, you'll notice we'll get 8,000. And so on. Next, we're going to go ahead and discuss what assignment operators are. And this is a way to save you a little bit of time when you get into more complex algorithms. So let's just pretend that the answer is always going to be 20. And right below that, let's pretend we want to add 20 to the answer. So all we have to do is type answer equals answer plus 20, of course. But this is a lot of syntax. You don't really want to do that every single time. So a short way to do this is to type plus equals 20. Now every time we call this, this will just say answer equals answer plus 20. And as you can see, the result will remain 40. And if we do answer equals answer minus 20, we'll end with the result of 0. If we add the asterisk, it will be answer equals answer times 20. And you'll get 400. And as you can see, this can save you a lot of time in the long run. And of course, this works for everything you do, all the arithmetic operators that we have used until this point, as well as the modulus, which will give us a remainder of 0, and the exponential power, which will give us a result of some number that I can't even read because it's so big. And that's essentially how the assignment operators work. And of course, not to forget that the equals is also an assignment operator, which just provides the value that you assign to it. And finally, we should move on to comparison operators, because in the next chapter of this series, we are going to be talking about logical statements, and they have to do a lot with these logical operators, also known as comparison operators. So to keep this simple, we're just going to write everything inside the console log. We're going to remove this result, and we're going to start with answer is equal to 39. And as you can see, this results in false because this is used as a comparison operator. And just so you don't get confused, this does not compare whether it's the same type. It just makes sure that the content of whatever you are comparing is the same. So answer can also equal the string of answer, which will be true. But of course, they're not the same type, so it's not really a proper check. If you want to have a very strict check, you want to make sure that the number 20 is equal to the number 20, you will use 3 equal signs. And this guarantees that the answer will be equal to 20 and it will also be a number. So as you can see right now, 20 is not equal to the string of 20, which means we get false as a return. Now, if we remove the quotation marks, you'll notice that this statement will turn into true, because 20 and 20 are both the same value and the same data type. Next, let's move on to find out if something is not equal. And a very fast way to do this is to add an exclamation mark and add an equal sign. So, for example, the answer is not equal to hello will return true, because 20 is not equal to this string and it's not equal to that value either. But if we add the value 20 instead, you'll notice that this will return false because the value of 20 is equal to the value of the string of 20. And to make this strict, of course, just add another equal sign and it will be much more strict and it will guarantee that the value of 20 is not equal to the value of 20. The next comparison operator we should go over is the greater than symbol. As you can see, it's a right arrow, which means it is checking whether the answer is greater than 20. And since it is not greater than 20, it's going to give us false. But if we change this to 19, it will return true to us. And of course, this works the other way around. So answer is 20 and it is not smaller than 19. So it's going to give false. But if we change this to 21, it will give us a true. But let's go back to the example of 20. So 20 is not bigger than 20, of course, but let's pretend we want to return true if the answer is 20 included. So if we add if the answer is less than or equal to 20, we will return true. So that's something else we can do to make a check. Now if we go to 21, it will return true because it is still bigger or equal to. Otherwise, if we return 19, it works the same way. We still get a false because it is not bigger than the answer. And this works also the other way around. So answer is bigger than 20. Yes, so we get a true. Is the answer bigger than or equal to 20? Yes, so we also get a true down here. The final operator I want to go over still has to do with the logical operators, but this is to check whether several statements are correct or none are correct at all. So right now, if we have this will return true, of course. But let's pretend we want to check if two statements are true. All we have to do is add the double and we can add another statement here. So we also want to check if the answer is less than 19. So as you can see right here, this is going to return true and this is going to return false. So the output is going to return false because both of these have to be true for the statement to be true. So if we change this to 21, you'll notice that this will return a true answer. Now let's go and change this back to 19 where it was false and introduce to you the logical OR operator. So to do this, all we need to do is create two long lines. I don't know how your keyboard's designed, but you just need to find a way to insert these two long lines. And this will check whether either one of these are correct. And you can have as many of these as you want. You can put something here and another statement. It just checks whether one of the following statements has a true value. So if any of these two are true, it's going to return true. If both of them are false, it's going to return false because neither of them are true. And it's a very neat shortcut to check whether one of the following equations produces a true value. And I believe those are all of the basic operators you will be using when you start coding in JavaScript. And with that being said, in the next video, we can finally move on to logical statements using if and else if and so on. But as always, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next tutorial.